Well, thanks so much for tuning in to today's KTV and the terrific Tuesday tip of the week. Yeah! Woo! It is summer here in Arkansas, so we have pulled out the sleeveless dresses and pulling up the hair. Hope it is finally warming up where you are too. And I just wanted to say happy summer. Today's KTV, I'm not positive that there is a more perfect person to talk about this. And those of you who know me and know my life are totally going to laugh at that. But we are going to talk about what happens when you're running your business and emergency strikes. I'm not talking about like a tragedy, like a tornado hits your area or something happens government-wise. I'm talking about what happens when tragedy hits you and nobody else knows it, right? You're expected to put KTV out. You're expected to show up for customers, and you've got a flashing lights, ambulance, emergency. There are two things that I want you to know as you walk away from today's KTV. Number one, it's going to happen. Just know that it's going to happen. Number two, there are things you can do to prep for an emergency. For example, you can have some blogs written, you can have some KTV shot and loaded and ready to go. Obviously, you wouldn't have KTV, but whatever your flavor of communication is, ready to go, locked and loaded, so that you can just put them out there should emergency strike. The other thing that you can do is, this is going to be a big shocker, but be honest. Be honest with people. Now, I know if you've had an emergency that's going to take you out for months, yeah, your business is probably going to suffer because of that. It just is. But I had an instance one time when I was supposed to be on the other end of the phone with somebody for a mini session. It was their very first interaction live with me. They obviously knew of my business because they'd scheduled a mini session. Fabulous lady. But it was her very first interaction with me. And about 10 minutes before, this is gross, but I started vomiting profusely. So I emailed Jessica, my assistant, and said, get in touch with X and tell her I can't come to the mini session. She literally got the email at the same time she was on the phone. We got an email back that said, what's going on? I'm on the phone and I got this message for the mini session, but I could not physically show up. So what happens when stuff like that happens? You just have to be truthful. I wasn't even able to contact that lady for a while, but because I was so sick. But here's what happened. You ask yourself, how can you make raving fans? What can you do? And so when I was able to honor that mini session, I tried to give her an extended amount of time and also said, let me know if you need me. Pull me back in. You were so understanding when I was sick and had an emergency. I want to repay you for that kindness. So there are a couple of things to keep in mind when you have an emergency. Number one, before the emergency, be as prepared as you can. Sometimes you can't always be prepared, and it just is. Number two, be honest. Don't drop a million balls trying to make it look like you're holding it all together when you're not. Stuff happens. Husbands go to hospitals. Kids have emergencies. You get sick and vomit all over the place. The best way I know to deal with that is to be honest. People respect that. And way number three is when the flashing lights have died down and you're feeling better and things seem to be falling back in place, ask yourself, how can I create a raving fan if I had to let somebody down? What can I do to go back in and make it better? If you do these three things, you will handle emergencies. You will handle emergencies. You will handle emergencies in a way that honors the amazing business that you've created and continues to show people why they should do business with you, even in the face of flashing lights, ambulances, and emergencies. Would love to know your thoughts about this. Tell me about a time when you had an emergency in your business and how you dealt with it. And tune in next week for KTV and a terrific Tuesday tip of the week.